The Central Florida Tourism Oversight District that replaced the Reedy Creek Improvement District is having a closed-door meeting on Wednesday to talk about their strategy against the Walt Disney Company. Let's talk about what's going on there on that park place. Hello, everyone. I am Jonas J. Campbell, and with me, as always, is Mr. Vash Sky. Vash, it feels a little different on the channel today, doesn't it?
Feels a little different, yeah. We got some things moving around in the background right there, but hopefully our viewers can keep up with it. You know, we've had some circumstances befall us. However,
No. We have not had circumstances befall us. We have just had our eyes open to how important it is to keep doing what we're doing, because that great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day, well, it's not guaranteed. Despite what the song says, we just need to work hard to make sure that it happens. But that being said, I hate deterred. It's only put a fire in our bellies to make sure that the truth gets out there. But in the interest of keeping our audience informed, let's talk about this story out of Blog Mickey. You've caught me researching. Let's move to the top. DeSantis Oversight District to discuss strategy and settlement negotiations in ongoing lawsuit against Disney. It was formerly a countersuit, and now it's just a lawsuit. This posted by Mike. Well, good morning to you, Mike, or good afternoon, wherever you are. According to a public note, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board, or as we like to call it, CFTOD, will meet on Wednesday, February 28th in a closed-door session. That would be next week, actually, to discuss the ongoing litigation between Disney and the district. The notice says that the closed-door session will be for the board to meet with its lawyers to discuss strategy and settlement negotiations related to litigation expenditures on 3 of the ongoing lawsuits. The lawsuits include the federal suit that is currently on appeal in the 11th Circuit Court regarding First Amendment retaliation by Ron DeSantis and CFTOD listed as the defendant. That was dismissed. And now apparently it's on appeal. We'll have to see how that goes. The state-level lawsuit brought by the district against Disney, alleging improper contracts entered into between Disney and the former Reedy Creek Board of Supervisors. There'll be more on that later, I'm sure. The state-level lawsuit brought by Disney against the district, where Disney alleges violations of the Florida Public Records Act. Persons in attendance at the closed-door meeting will be Martin Garcia. That guy, man, I love watching that guy operate because he has a strong but firm hand here. He's the kind of guy that even when people come up opposing him, no matter how showy and ridiculous they might be, we're looking at you, Disney defenders. He gives them their fair shot and allows them to say everything they want to say and more, even when they violate the rules a little bit. Charbel Barakat, Brian Ongst, Ron Perry, Bridget Ziegler. I'm kind of surprised to see that name still there, but hey, plus Glenton Gilzine, otherwise known as Glenn Gilzine, Daniel Langley, and Kurt Ardman. I wonder, also Paul Huck, I wonder if Andrew from the Legal Mindset actually knows several of these people that will be here.
You know, he has worked with a lot of these people before in this area of litigation and law and so forth, and his practice and experience. It is quite surprising, so he might.
Yeah, that's true. And this was an interesting note here. With the lawsuits set to be in court for years to come, the district has allocated more than $5 million for its fight with Disney this year, a budget presented by District Administrator Glenn Gilzine back in August 23 for this year. Let's see here, and more than $500,000 for other fees and services related to the fight with Disney. That was more than double the budget in 2023. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why that could be. This is a fascinating story here. Of course, the CFTOD controls the transportation, not the transportation Department of Transportation budget for the Walt Disney World Resort at this point. So there was some allegation back in the day that maybe some of that road budget that Disney would have used in the past is now being used against Disney as a litigation budget. And of course, CFTOD controls some level of the taxes in the district. This will be an interesting thing over the next little while to see if that budget is increased for litigation and decreased for road improvements, because they do have to make the ends meet, as it were. Vash, what are your thoughts on a closed door meeting of CFTOD to go over settlement, not suing, but settlement?
Yeah, it sounds like Disney's not going to have their way on this one. It looks like they're the fact that they're willing to even come to the table at all acknowledges their existence and acknowledges that the fact that they're going to be here for some time. You don't necessarily sit down with somebody at the table if you understand that they're not going to be around in the immediate future. This definitely demonstrates from Disney's end that it's like, okay, this is an entity that we're going to have to live with here, and so to reach some kind of settlement on maybe one or various lawsuits that are at issue here, I think really says something about CFTOD's standing in the long term.
Yeah, there's also, of course, the fact that CFTOD is the holders of an audit that they've hired experts in several fields to audit the deeds of the Reedy Creek Improvement District while it was under Disney, allegedly under Disney's control. I say allegedly, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is a matter of record here in the coming future. Of course, that was done by having maybe a dozen people, maybe 24 people owning double wides that were controlled by the Walt Disney Company, and also choosing who was in those double wides within the district in order to create an alleged shadow government there for that land, and to make sure that it never went from being a private partnership to what its original intent was, a public-private partnership. There's an article on that Park Place that catalogs Andrew from the Legal Mindsets alleged 12 crimes of the Reedy Creek audit. I don't know how much of that can be negotiated away in settlement, but it would be interesting to see if those enter into the discussion. I don't know if we will ever find out if they enter into the discussion. Of course, those were forwarded to the IRS. Some of those findings were forwarded to federal agencies and also the IRS when they were discovered. I don't know how deep that audit will go. But Vash, what are you looking for in this CFTOD situation?
That's got to be a long-term goal at this point. Like the power dynamic in terms of the Florida politics has definitely shifted. I think I don't know if there's going to be political will, frankly, from either party, large scale. I think to get the votes necessary to reverse all of this. I just don't think it's there. The existence of the RCID had been challenged several times between 1967 when this thing was passed and today. I can't see it myself. I don't think this is necessarily a stalling tactic. I think this is just Disney recognizing, look, this is going to be a long-term situation here, and we have to work with this new entity right here, which I think is what should have been done to begin with. Honestly, they should have come. Oh, go ahead.
I agree with you. I don't think Reedy Creek is coming back because at this point, there's been too much scrutiny placed on it. And I do believe, this is my opinion here, this is not me stating a fact. I do believe that the Reedy Creek Improvement Act of 1967 was probably unconstitutional, and no one had the political will to challenge it up until this point. So if it comes back into power, I would say that Universal or even SeaWorld might challenge, or whatever they're calling themselves these days, might challenge them as unconstitutional and giving Disney an unfair competitive advantage in the state of Florida. So I don't think it's coming back.
I remember saying that exact thing about 2 years ago when this whole thing popped up. I'm like, this wasn't necessarily constitutional when this thing was enacted here. And having conversations with friends over the years, it's like, this does definitely run afoul of some constitutional requirements that no other company is privy to. I mean, it was just insane how this whole thing developed. So I do agree with you now that it's been brought to light and just how extensive this power was as it relates to Disney and this area of Central Florida. It's just never coming back. And if it does, it's going to take on an entirely brand new form. Honestly, Disney should have been working with the governor immediately, as soon as he threatened to, as soon as the legislature actually threatened to strip this thing away in the first place. It's like, okay, well, can we come to a renewed understanding? And instead, they played the game of hubris, and they fell short.
Right, and of course, that legislation, despite the fact the federal lawsuit says that even if it was capricious, it was within the power of the state of Florida to do
Absolutely it is.
Which I don't think that the state of Florida is going to disagree with that in their assessment. So that being said, there is going to be a lot more coverage here of CFTOD and Reedy Creek here on That Park Place. And of course, over on the website, thatparkplace.com. In the meantime, like this video. If you like this video, consider sharing it out if you know someone who might be interested in the doings of the CFTOD. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun. But wait, there's more. By the way, we have a Patreon that we'll be linking below if you would like to support the channel while our AdSense is different than it used to be. That being said, stay tuned to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.